Do you know what Watergwan is?
It's where you can get news about the Jamaican culture and just learn about how Jamaicans are doing as a yard and abroad.
Salut tout le monde, ici Carrière La Flamme. T'aimes le reggae en français, en anglais, qui vient du Canada, du Québec et de la Jamaïque? Écoute Watergwan.
So rope in and come check out the thing now. It's Watergwan.
I live in the UK and I enjoy tuning in to Watergwan.
I am a big fan of Watergwan. I'm always looking forward for the great vibes, the great things. They discuss a lot of things that are going on in Calgary, across Canada, and of course Jamaica. So
this is what is going on in Jamaica. But check out Watergwan.
Every Friday at 7 p.m. Calgary time.
You get to learn a new Jamaican patois word or even a Jamaican phrase.
I look forward to the patois word of the day, feeding my nostalgic mood with flavor and spice. Only Jamaicans can do.
Watch Watergwan.
It happens every Friday at 7 p.m. So check them out. And bye from Toronto.
Watch Watergwan.
Yo, this is Big Shot.
Watch Watergwan.
Relevant and entertaining, so keep up the good work.
Watch Watergwan.
tune in, share, listen to Watergwan.
Big up yourself. Watergwan 2022. Bless up.
Watergwan. Yes, Watergwan.
Watch Watergwan.
Always you're going to know what going on in a yard. Check it out. 7 p.m. every Friday. Hello everybody, welcome to another week of Watergwan. Oh no do, it's another Friday and it's 7 o'clock Calgary time, and you know what time that is? Time for Watergwan. And it's another week with your girl, the one and only Nicole from, guess where? Bunga Town. Yes, you got it right. It's your girl from Bunga Town. Well, you all know I am Nicole, as I said it a million times, and I'm currently settling in Calgary. I work with the Women's Center of Calgary, a community organization that serves women and women identifying individuals. And just want to let you know that for the month of May, Alberta celebrates Sexual Violence Awareness Month. And to recognize that month, the Women's Center will be putting on a panel discussion looking at sexual violence in a racialized community. So please jump on the Women's Center website, search for it on your Google, jump on, and please register for the event because it's both in person and online. So jump on and come on and hear a very good conversation looking at how sexual violence is viewed in racialized communities. So this week, we'll be looking at Labor Day in Jamaica and why we celebrate. So, you know the song Labor, or a Labor, neighbor, let's come together, put work in a Labor Day. I don't know if they still sing that song. I have missed 8 Labor Days in Jamaica, so I don't know if that song is still this song that happens, but we will be having that conversation with Clive, Hinds, and Clovis Nelson. So, look out for that interesting conversation with Donovan Simon in just a little bit. And so now we are moving on to the patois word of the day. And that word today is tegereg. You ever heard that word before? Use it in a sentence and tell me what it means. So you do that by putting it into the comment section. And again, we want to make it very interactive. So we're going to throw the word meaning in the comment so we can read your comment at the end of the show and, have a good conversation and a good time. So the word today is tegereg. Okay, so when somebody says somebody a tegereg, to me, well, when I use it, it just means somebody who kind of problematic, can't love fight. So you say the girl, well, let me use the English word. The girl over there, so say she's such a tegereg. So use it in a sentence and drop it in the comment, right? Because it might mean something different depending on where you come from in Jamaica. But where I come from, it means, you're kind of troublemaker-ish and you can't fight. That kind of thing there. So in last week's show, we looked at we spoke with Xavier Murphy and Mark Millard, and we look at freedom of the press and its influence in our society. Some very good points were raised. It was a good discussion, but the most important takeaway I feel spoke about is the important of the freedom and the responsibility that we have that comes with that freedom. Because some people think that because you're free, you can just do it willy-nilly, but there's responsibility that come with our freedom. If you haven't or you didn't get a chance to see it, remember to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, or check out the website. To see the replay, you go to our YouTube channel, and that is at Gwaan, or you visit our Facebook page at Gwaan, and you can see it there. So go ahead and just take a look, watch it, and remember, share the thing like food, people. Share it, share it, share it. So now what's happening in some upcoming events that will be happening. So over there in Montreal, the Jamaican Association is hosting a tribute to the greats, past and present, on May 28th. So that's what, next week, Friday or Saturday. So doors open at 9 p.m. and showtime is at 10. Get your tickets by calling 514-737-8229, or you can just go on Eventbrite and purchase your ticket. And I look on the post and I'm seeing King Shadrach. He was our host, our first host. So go and support the thing and check out the King and see if he is a good DJ and him know where do. All right. Remember, May 28th. So check it out. In Calgary, the Black Film Festival will be showcasing their thing on from May 26 to May 29. You can get your tickets at calgaryblackfilm.com. So just go on the website to get your tickets and for more information. Also in Calgary, the Jamaican Association is having a Father's Day celebration on June 18th. That starts at 7 p.m. So come on out as we celebrate our dads. The good one, them. Come on out June 18th. Let us celebrate. There's going to be soup festival and first drink will be on the house. So guess what? You can't miss that. Free food, free drinks. Woo, come on out. The Jamaica Diaspora Conference will be happening on June 14 to 16. So remember, to get any information that you need and to register, go to www.mfaft.gov.jm. It's a free event and they are hoping to have 5,000 participants in the diaspora. So go on out and check it out, please. Our next thing, and I love this one, is Spot the Place. All right. So for this picture that you're going to be seeing, it's located in Jamaica's first capital city, because we have two capital, but a real capital, aka, and it is a servicing communities. It services commuters by bus and taxi. So in your Spot the Place, please drop in the comment where in Jamaica's capital city this is. I'm not going to tell you which of the city because I might give away the clue. But drop in the comment and tell me where this is, all right? Sorry, oh my God. Where in Jamaica this is. My patois keeps coming out, but I have to remember that not everybody speak patois. So drop it. Put it in the comment where in Jamaica's capital city this is, all right? We're going to look forward to see where this is. And this time I promise you I know the answer, so I won't tell you that it's wrong. All right, so next up is Time to All a Reason.
What's up,
Mr.
Nicole?
Sir, in your Flames jersey.
Go Flames, go! You know, we have to do the thing. You know, we have to represent. So you know, I have to embrace all the roots that I have created, and there are roots in Calgary. But yeah, so it go. All is good.
All right.
But today
Have a good reason, sir.
yeah, we have a woody to talk about. So listen, I'm gonna jump into the reasoning, and then we talk a little more. All right.
Yeah, man. All right, cool. Enjoy.
All right, good. Today we're going to have a great discussion. Thanks for joining us on A Time to Reason. We're going to talk about Labor Day in Jamaica and why we celebrate it. We're going to have some great guests. I've got, Dr. Clovis Nelson, who's an educator out of Florida. He's also the executive director for Refuge of Jamaica, a non-profit organization. And we've got Mayor Clive Hinds, who is coming to us from Stonewall, Manitoba, little town out in Manitoba. We'll hear a little bit maybe about Stonewall. But we want to talk about Labor Day. And this year, Labor Day is being celebrated in Jamaica under the theme, Reigniting a Nation for Greatness to Protect Our Heritage and Environment. And the slogan that the Jamaicans will be hearing is Make Jamaica Crisp and Clean. But there's a lot of history behind Labor Day. And we want to dig into that and understand how that plays itself out. So I'm going to bring our guests on and start having a chat. Dr. Nelson, Mayor Hinds, welcome to Gwaan. How are you gentlemen doing?
Very good indeed. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me to your program. This is my first time.
Well, both of you, welcome. But before we get into the serious, well, all of it is going to be serious, but we have to ask about the patois word of the day. Dr. Nelson, you want to take that on?
The patois word of the day?
Yeah, tegereg.
Tegereg. My understanding of tegereg, goes way back.
Yeah.
In primary school, we used to use that a lot. My grandmother used to call us that word when you misbehave in a certain way.
Yeah.
You're a real tegereg.
A real tegereg.
I agree.
Honestly, I don't have a clue as to the origin of the word, which is what would be very interesting to discover.
Yeah,
whether it's assimilation of Afro, English, Spanish mix. I have no clue.
Yeah, but isn't that the beauty of the patois, though? We know it comes from a lot of roots.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And it fits.
I tell you, we love it. We love it. All right, listen. Labor Day. On Monday, we're going to celebrate Labor Day in Jamaica, and we celebrate it, and we've done it for years. But chances are many of our people don't necessarily understand where it's from, why we do it, and that's what we're going to jump into today. So I'm going to throw out an open question to both of you to maybe add some context about the history of Labor Day based on what you understand it to be, why it came about, right? Where did it start?
I will go ahead with Dr. Nelson if you want.
Okay. All right. The history of Labor Day is quite a fascinating one when you look at it.
Yes.
From the onset, it started out as a replacement of what used to be called Emperor Day, or Empire Day, I should say, which came out of the colonial era of celebration. It had a lot to do with the reality of the time where the slaves were asked to celebrate this day for colonial reasons, or for reasons that are associated with the monarch, and that was called Empire Day. Somewhere down the road, though, pre-independence, it was the Honorable Norman Washington Manley, who, to my recollection, decided to, or had ideas of replacing, Empire Day celebration with what he termed Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
We all know who the Honorable Norman Washington Manley was: national hero, Rhodes Scholar, statesman, and the first and only premier, according to the history. you know, and some people think he was the first prime minister of Jamaica, but he pretty much played a very, you know,
Yeah, he wasn't.
significant role in that time. Yes,
Right.
but somebody, you know, seemed to have, you know, elbowed him out of the way. But he really was the one who took the reign.
Right.
You know, and please don't repeat that statement of mine.
Especially since the mayor is a politician as well, right?
But yeah, some interesting game played.
Right.
You know, that kind of displaced him and made way for who became the first prime minister. But across party lines, across both party lines, you know, the origin of Labor Day, you know, is tied with the you know, the roots of independence. You know, it is after that time, somewhere in what, 1930, was it 1938, I believe it was.
Yeah.
You know, was the time when all of this was happening. And it came on the heels, of course, of a very significant, you know, labor rebellion that took place around about that time, 1938.
Right.
Was the uprising, major uprising, that also gave rise to the birth of what is known as the unionized concept, the BITU.
Yeah.
And it went on from that to the structuring of both major political parties thereafter, right, shortly after. Yeah, so, you know, I'm going to leave. I'm going to give this a rest and ask my brother in you know, in on the frame here to have his say.
Okay. Mine, and you did quite well, Dr. Nelson. Seriously, with all due respect. But mine goes back a little bit deeper than that.
Okay.
I'm going back to the original movement. The labor movement actually started with a man named Samuel Sharp from Montego Bay. He was a preacher.
Okay.
Back in 1831, just before slavery was abolished.
Right.
And he was a man of some kind of stature and carried a lot of power. And at that time in particular, there was 3 holidays given to the slaves: Boxing Day, Christmas Day, and of course, Christmas Eve. And then the government decided at that particular time to take out one of the days and make it only a 2-day holiday. Well, now the man them get vexed. so then that started more trouble. So what Mr. Sharp did, Samuel Sharp did, he organized a walkout, and it was supposed to take place on Boxing Day, 1831.
Right.
But some of the slaves them get agitated. They couldn't wait, as usual. And they decided to start burning down plantations and estates and everything, and created major trouble. So Mr. Sharp was taken into custody and, of course, sentenced to death and was hung. And his ashes were spread both basically into the sand. Later on, they resumed the body and buried him at Bursell Baptist Church in Montego Bay.
Right.
So that was the start of the original labor movement.
Right.
Fast forward 100 years later, 1938 is what Dr. Nelson just alluded to.
Right.
And at that time, Bustamante and a man named William Grant.
William Grant, yes.
Yes, decided that they were going to take things into their hands, not looking back on history and say what had happened. Them decide to go ahead and they push forward with some of the atrocities that was going on at the time and very, very poor working condition. So they push hard. At the end of the day, the rebellion happened again, and Bustamante and Mr. Grant did 18 months in prison for that uprising. So while Bustamante was in prison is where you hear Mr. Nelson just alluded to, that Norman Manley, who was a cousin to Bustamante, decided to carry on the movement. And then, of course, he, in 1961, prior to independence in the 6th of August, 62, decided to change now from the Empire Day, which was Queen Victoria holiday, the 24th,
Right.
to the 23rd. And of course, that's what we came to know is
At Labor Day.
Yeah, Labor Day, 23rd of May.
Yeah.
Well,
So
you took
listen,
you took
you
the
guys have
history.
laid down a whole heap of history
Yes,
already.
man. You
This
took
is
the history.
awesome. This is
You took the
awesome. This is
history much
exciting.
deeper than I went.
Deep,
You
yeah,
went,
man.
you
This
went
is good.
all the way back to
To the
what they used to
1800s.
call him Deacon Sharp,
There we
Yeah,
go.
man.
which is
Yes.
very good. I appreciate that. You know, I
Here's what
appreciate
I'd
that.
like to throw out. And maybe Dr. Nelson, you can go to this one as well. So the values and the thoughts that influenced that initial decision, and maybe all the way into 1961 when Labor Day became a Jamaican holiday. Are those values and those principles still relevant to Jamaica today?
The you know, when you look at the social significance of Labor Day, you know, I want to frame it that way. The intention, you know, it speaks to the, you know, the pleasure of nationalism, you know, a kind of a, you know, social gathering. You're talking about, you know, people feeling proud of themselves, communityism, community togetherness, that oneness kind of a, you know, necessity, you know, of taking care of the physical plans around the social, you know, structure in general. People were urged to get involved in what we commonly call beautification.
Yes.
You know, whitewashing. A lot of white lime run them times, you know.
Yes.
And
White
you know,
lime, yes.
roadside cleanup and bush chop down, and you know, just that pride in community, and you know, most importantly though, volunteerism,
right,
you know, was a key factor in Labor Day. I want to go as far as to say, because as a boy, Labor Day meant a lot to me and people in my time.
Right.
We looked forward to Labor Day. And, you know, everybody pick up their hoe and their cutlass, and, you know, the ladies putting on the what we used to call the kerosene tin.
Yeah.
You know, the yam peeling and the dumpling rolling, cornmeal dumpling, cassava dumpling,
Yes,
and the pot of cook. And as young boys, that's what we were focusing on.
Right.
So we stayed near the pot. We carry firewood and make sure the pot stays straight.
Right.
That's what I mean, because when you do that, you're sure to get an extra dumpling or an extra piece of the corn pork.
Right.
You know, so it was festive.
Right.
And work was going on, you know. Because, you know, I grew up in Northwest Clarendon.
Right.
Up in the hills there, a place called Andrew Hill. And, you know, Labor Day for us then, as a young boy, it was to get involved. No money now run. But you get food to eat, and you meet people. Your little girlfriend from across the road, she's coming with her mother, and you well want to be near her so she can see how you can work.
Right.
So it was that community spirit,
right,
and that volunteerism that I yearn for, that, because I am not living in Jamaica right now, but when I do visit, and if I catch a Labor Day or two, I don't feel that vibe anymore. It is not as significant as perhaps it should be. And that interest, I believe, is now absorbed into people's economic status or economic condition that seem to drive away even the very thought of volunteering to do anything. You know, everybody wants to be paid. The community spirit is no longer there. And people don't want to talk about this, but it is the sad reality. You know, it's not what it was meant to be, and it's not what it can be and can become.
Right. So let me ask a question, Mayor. Is it a function of government not getting the message across as to the significance and the importance of Labor Day, or is just that these recent generations, you know, as we'd say, you know, broke sticking on them ears and them not understand how important it is? What is it that is causing some of this?
Well, two things that causing that is that the program was actually changed. It was changed in 1989 when the government decided that they wanted to bring a different meaning to Labor Day, and they started turning it over to the community organizers to do their thing. So that was a minus point right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, they decided to bring in these teams. You have certain kind of teams that seems that the people then were supposed to follow that particular team that year and all that. So that caused confusion to some of the people, especially the country people. Them. Remember, sir, I'm a Kingstonian,
Mm-hmm.
So what we saw in Kingston is not what took place in the country sections.
Right.
And that's where you really saw the true spirit of Jamaica is when you leave Kingston and go into the country. That's where you saw community pride.
Yep.
Right.
But when you get the people them confused, then now you have a different social aspect on your hands. And the young people who did not know anything about what we experienced in the 1960s believe it's just a holiday. It's just a holiday to them. They don't understand.
So here's a question then, I'll go to Dr. Nessel. And for anybody who's watching, if you have questions and comments, please throw them in the comment section so we can bring them forward, because I love where this is going. Are we getting value, Dr. Nelson, out of having Labor Day as a holiday, or is this just another expense for government and the employers?
As Mr. Hinds rightly said just now, the only people who really enjoy Labor Day, and I'm tempted to say to this very day, whatever little remnants of it exists, are the country people to a certain extent. But there's a commonality of, a day to relax on the beach.
Yes.
Right? Or a day to go check my girlfriend, or a day to go check my brethren. That's what Labor Day has become.
Right.
It has lost the significance that it was meant to have. And I can name these for you. What I recall is that it's supposed to be something to enhance the dignity of labor, right? By improving environment, the inspiring the spirit of community development, right? And encouraging principle of solidarity,
right?
Building that sharing and that togetherness kind of a spirit and atmosphere. I want to go as far as to call it that sense of nationalism,
right?
Being your brother's keeper. The community on a whole belongs to all of us.
Yes.
And while we are busy during our day-to-day task at the rest of the year or during the rest of the year, this is the one day that we say, all right, put down what you doing, put down what me doing, and let us come together and do what we all should be doing.
Right. And build community.
That to me is the significance of Labor Day. And I think we have lost it.
Right.
I think we have lost it. I think it has become the hype that Mr. Hinds just spoke about. It has taken a different format.
Right.
It has been watered down into almost nothingness, just a talk.
It's a free day.
A free day and talk and fancy phrases to for whatever. Labor Day party at what they call it, the beach there in Portmore. Come on. And Mr. Tommy Cowan say, yes indeed. You remember that song?
Oh yeah,
yes, sir.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. And so it has lost that significance.
Yeah.
That the founding members or the founding fathers, would want it to be, and Mr. Sharp's intention, right? And what the whole movement of the 1938 reality, that shaped it, right? And as Mr. Hinds said further back, Mr. Sharp, the deacon, the slave deacon, and the leader, that brought the attention to Labor Day from way back when.
Yes.
And so as a national endeavor, I think it has lost its purpose.
Right. Mayor Hinds, let me ask you a question about community leaders. Can you talk about this dichotomy of sorts? Country, town, they see it differently. Do the community leaders have a role to play in either reviving or getting back to what this whole concept was about? Or is it just a government thing?
Well, I don't know if you can remember that Hugh Shearer, I think it was in 1967, he decided that he would use the Jamaica House, started a big thing in Kingston, and he used the Jamaica House as a launching pad to have this great big party going on and celebration. So for us in Kingston, that is what, you know, energize people. And then you have a lot of the music, and them revving up the community and playing them music and reminding everybody that's a time to get together and celebrate and enjoy the day together. In the country section, and I keep going back to that because my father is from St. Anne's, my mother is from Mandeville. And I always left Kingston to go to those places to really understand and appreciate the true essence of Jamaica. Because in those country places is way and Miss and the doctor said it so well, Dr. Nelson. When you go to those places and you have pot pan fire boil, and the dumpling them so you only need one dumpling. One dumpling, your belly full because I'm so big. But those are the days, no, exactly. Money don't pass hand. We have lost that. We've lost the original feeling, the true feeling of that. And government really have to step up now and show and lead by example. Don't talk the talk, just walk the walk.
Yeah, let me put a little bit more on what you're saying, Mr. Hinds, because it was just today somebody called me from Jamaica because I keep a good relationship there, and they were complaining to me about road work.
Yes.
Now, road work never happened in Kingston. So you used to go to St. Anne to witness road work.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Day, where everybody now get a chain or two within their vicinity by their gateway and about a chain below or a chain above your gateway. And then John Tom, who live above you, get the other piece, and it goes on and goes on and goes on. Yes. And so everybody now have a little piece of work designated to them as their Labor Day project. Right. And it continued through road cleaning. Outside of Labor Day, it became road work that people were paid for. And people were looking forward to when the little money comes so them can do them road work and get a little money in them pocket.
True.
This guy was complaining to me and he was saying, Doc, what they're doing nowadays, and this is where the community spirit is being broken down. And the persons who you spoke of, who are now, concentrated, the work is now concentrated in the hands of a few. Right? And whether it's Labor Day or task job where they get paid for, it is no longer shared out to the members of the community. I was a little boy then, and my little machete was sharpened and ready to do my little chain of road work during Christmas time, so I can get my little change to go Grand Market and all of that. And when it was Labor Day, we still control our little chain.
Yes.
Within our gateway and above, and we would chop down Miss Jane gate because Miss Jane is an old woman and Mass Jane him can't walk. And so as young boys, we would just take over for them chain and we do our piece and help them out. And so the community spirit was alive and well. Miss Joseph and her husband, or Mass Joseph and his wife, kill a pig. And they would come to the hillside and shout, Mr. Nelson, send your boy come for a piece of pork.
No, it's true.
And we would run down the hill.
Yeah, but Dr. Nelson.
Yes.
Isn't the concept of community, though, different in country and town, right? And therefore, it is represented in a different way. But this whole concept that the founding fathers had about labor and pride and all the rest of it, I'm not sure if it necessarily translated the language of either country or town. We have a question here. Let me see what it says. How can we generate the kind of nation pride for youths to get involved, right, more, and see Jamaica as home to protect and to promote using Labor Day events as a platform? So, maybe here's the question, and maybe I rephrase it. Is there a way to get today's youth to find some significance in this time that is allocated? Granted, I don't know if it's a holiday, because in some cases may end up not working, right? So that they can contribute to Jamaica. Do they see it that way? And is there a way to get them to see it that way?
I believe there is.
Okay.
I honestly believe that if we go back to the original thought, the original idea, where the forefathers came, Norman Manley, Bustamante, Michael Manley, Hugh Shearer, all of them Manley. If we go back to that original idea, but this time we offer it as a contest among communities, among parishes, and you will see and use a monetary value at the end for those who participate and did extremely well beautifying their community or parish. You will see it take a total different turn, because nowadays it's not about eating a dumpling or some yam. It's about money. And if the government of Jamaica decide to make it a monetary thing by offering a reward for those that really, really step up in their community and make a change, make a difference in their community, you will see the pride come back, because now it become a competition.
But doesn't that change the concept totally? So first of all, it was celebrating labor and rights and freedoms and all the rest of it. And now the motivation is totally, Dr. Nelson talked about volunteerism.
Yes.
Doc, are we changing to achieve what? What would we achieve?
Well, I hear what Mr. Hinds is saying, and I respect it, and I believe that there is some sense to it, right? However, there is a component that Donovan, just made reference to, that pride, that national pride, that civic responsibility, that sense of country and community. How do you regain that? While I can understand the need to incentivize, as Mr. Hinds put it, as one way of looking at bringing back this kind of a focus, we have to seriously pay attention to the socio-economic reality that shape the mental frame of the average Jamaican today, that forces them to make a decision as to what they're going to do and why. No man is going out there to volunteer to do anything if he's hungry, or if him can't see the purpose of his volunteerism. If you don't teach this man, right, the significance of why he need to volunteer, why the community spirit, has to be strong, why it is necessary to do volunteerism as a citizen of your country, then you're flogging a dead horse.
Right. And that's the question, I think that keeps spinning in my head, because the concept of volunteerism and civic pride and community is actually expressed in other ways, right? Jamaica has become a collection of many garrisons in different areas where people are aligned to their community and they contribute their time and effort to protect and to establish boundaries. So why can't it translate to the whitewash or what is it called? White lime and all of those? Because isn't it demonstrated in other ways?
There was a course, Mr. Hinds, in high school, that early high school, I think it was grade 8 when I was there or somewhere there, or maybe grade 7, civics for young Jamaicans.
Yes. Yeah.
I am not too sure how much civics is being taught in school today. I am not too sure, and I'm not trying to be problematic here. I might be playing the devil's advocate some, right? But I am not too sure If any graduate from high school today can seriously tell you what transpired in the year 1938 in Jamaica that was of significance.
That is true. That is
you
very
throw
true.
that out there to a head boy or a head girl graduating from any high school, and they can't answer.
They don't know. They don't know it.
So let's go back here. Let's look back now, retrospectively, and see where education is necessary in this regard, and to ask the question: are we addressing the educational significance or relevance of our nation in our school structure as it is right now? Or are we just focusing on the CXC parameters?
Right.
Are we giving our young people the education that they need to survive in Jamaica? Right? Just out of high school. Are we giving them that rounded knowledge of Jamaica and what Jamaica really is about and what it can become? Or is it somewhere just out there on the cloud?
Yeah.
You expect that they will find it.
And it just happens.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that is a
let's bring the mayor in on that. I love the point there, Dr. Nelson. Let's bring the mayor in on that. Is that the root of it? We have to educate and re-educate.
Yes, well, Dr. Nelson is definitely on a right path, but I have to add to that. I want to say that if you were to ask 75% of the people outside of Jamaica about Jamaica, every man big up themselves and say, yeah, man, I'm a Jamaican. Yes, enough respect. They're talking the talk, but Dr. Nelson alluded to something else. The true history that we took pride into knowing, to feeling, and to be part of, I don't see it happening in the young people today, especially the Kingstonians. They don't know. And for some reason, we have lost the way through the teachings. And Dr. Nelson mentioned the civic classes. Those are things that I don't even think take place today. We saw it, we experienced it when we were growing up, but we have lost. And that's the reason why I'm saying, what is the thoughts of the young people today? Is it about the pride of Jamaica, who we love so much? Every one of us talk and say, yes, I am a Jamaican, and I truly feel that I am Jamaican. As I'm talking to you right now, I haven't been to Jamaica now in 5 years, and I will be there this year. I am going. COVID is done, and I will be going home. But saying that, it's the pride of the people, and we have lost that path. But how do we bring it back? We have to find it. And Dr. Nelson said it so well, and I have to go back to what he said. He said, how do you take a hungry man and actually tell him he must get up and go and find something to do to give back to the community? The man is hungry. If you're not going to step in and actually introduce some program, something for the man to say, yes, I find that there's a benefit in participating in a community workshop, he's not going to do it.
All right. Here's a provocative question for both of you. And I'm looking at the clock as we're getting close to the end. Is it time to abolish the Labor Day and do a reset?
No. No. I'll have to jump on that. Remember where it started from in 1831 with Samuel Sharp. And the reason why those people started this movement is because the 3-day holiday became a 2-day holiday.
Yeah.
And man decided to fight and burn a mash of place. So that being said, no, you cannot take away what someone already have. That's causing trouble, big time trouble.
Where do we go with it, Doc?
It as the mayor said, Mr. Hinds, the whole thing. Let's go back. We have to go back. I like how Mr. Hinds love Mr. Sharp, you know. He's a Sharpite. No, but seriously, we have to go back in retrospect. We have to keep going back to that significant era, 1938. right? And the founding of Jamaica's independence thereafter.
Yes.
The birth of the trade union.
Yes.
Right? And the birth of both major political parties that followed on the heels of the trade union, right? BITU. Now, that was an era when the laborers, the workers, started to get liberated, if I may. When when efforts were being made or were forced, out of the the hands of the monarch and the plantocracy was forced to give way to humanitarianism to whatever extent it happened. And the slaves were now, or the workers were now given a few days of relaxation, holidays for celebration or whatever. You can't go back and take back that. As Mr. Hinds correctly said, you can't remove a day or two because you figure to them having too much freedom. Right? When they're chopping cane, 24/7 every day, every month. Right? They were happy for their 3 days. So that was not good thinking on the parts of the people who tried to do that.
Right.
Because it gave rise to what we're talking about now.
Yes.
But let me say this. And we're getting to the summary now. The way forward is not to reset and come again, wheel and come again, as they would say in the dance hall. The way forward is to go back to education. We have to make sure that civics for young Jamaican is fundamental and centered in our education, especially in the early childhood levels up to high school. I don't care what CXC is saying or doing or what the criteria are. We need to make sure that some fundamentals are happening in our young people's education, and civics in all its glory is one of them. You can't have young Jamaicans growing up coming up and going into colleges and all over the world and don't know the year 1930,
38. Yeah.
and know nothing about it. When you ask them who was Kojo, they can't tell you. They never even heard the name.
Right.
I was on a discussion the other day where the argument of the Maroons came up. And somebody asked me, Doc, what you think? The Maroons and the government at war. I said the government should not be warring with the Maroons,
Yeah.
And I was very blunt. I said, listen to me. And a lot of people don't agree with me on this statement, but I made it and I will make it 1,000,000 times over. That the Maroons of Jamaica are the liberators of the land. And I don't care what anybody want to say, that them did do this and them did sell Paul Bogle to the whatever. Don't give me that kind of talk. Because I know that renegades existed from way back then.
Right.
And even if that was so, it was not a decision made by the clans of the Maroons to bring back runaway slaves. It was an action of a few renegades for whatever money or kinds or whatever they wanted to be paid with at the time. This is not the kind of history everybody knows.
Right.
Okay? But the point I'm making is, when we get back to that stage where our history, the core of our history, is being held as significance to not just the past, but to our future and to our solidity as a nation, then we're going to keep having these kind of problems. When we don't understand what Garveyism is about, and only Rastaman know anything about Marcus Garvey, it's not taught in school, and the history of Garvey is not being, integrated in our educational frame.
Right.
We're not really going anywhere.
Right.
We're spinning around in the Eurocentric sphere and the American sphere. But we're losing the nationalism that we need to be reinforcing.
But I can interject for a second, Dr. Nelson. I totally agree with you on the Maroon situation. I'm 100%, because I know my history in Jamaica. I know it well. But I can honestly tell you this. If you don't know where you're coming from, you'll never know where you go. You will never know where you're going. You have to know your roots.
I see the people who fought for Jamaica being disrespected.
Oh, God, yeah. I know.
And I don't care how they want to frame it. Right? Because I tell everybody, that the treaties of the Maroons were signed and agreed on long before Jamaica got any form of sovereignty as an independent nation.
True.
That's true.
So their sovereignty came long before 1962.
Oh, God, yeah.
All right. Anyway, listen, hold on, Doc, because we would have to rein this one in, because the Maroon conversation and the whole issue of indigenous people and our liberation maybe is another topic.
discussion.
So I hope the producer is listening, because we possibly have to take on this one for sure.
Another discussion
right?
for another time.
Another discussion. But I want to put a wrap on this one, because this has been awesome. Love, 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 love it. Labor Day is going to be celebrated in Jamaica on the 23rd. If you had a chance to talk to somebody up in Andrew Hill, Clarendon, Dr. Nelson, what's your word to that group?
I would say to them, you know, as hungry as you people might be, let's find the kerosene pan. I will donate the piece of pork. And Mr. Joe, beg you 2 pieces of yam. If we put on the pot, and if we go back with our machete and our oar and keep our community clean. We're hungry, but we could band with belly and do it.
Okay.
And if we can build that community spirit again and sell that sense of purpose in volunteerism,
yeah,
right? Then that would mean something of significance. If you can get the people to come out still, give them a little history, give them a little talk, whatever it might be, motivate them. The way Winston Churchill motivated the British troops during World War II, using Claude McKay lyrics. If we must die.
If
and
we must die.
It went up as Churchill's big speech.
Until we
credit to Claude McKay.
We give credit, yeah.
That's another story for another time.
I hear you.
You're dragging my tongue, you know. You're pulling me into
I'm going to put a pause on it. Mayor, I'm going to give you the last word. You get a chance to talk to some of the youngsters in Kingston as we go into Labor Day next Monday. What's your word for them?
Well, first of all, you have to remember that I would, as a Kingstonian, I would definitely speak to them and the same thing Dr. Nelson alluded to. Pride of Jamaica. It's nice to say we are Jamaicans, but please remember the struggle of the past. Remember where we're coming from and where we're going. And this small island of Jamaica is the people fight and struggle in order for the successes that you enjoy today. So please take a moment and reflect.
Awesome. Gentlemen, Dr. Clovis Nelson, Mayor Clive Hinds, awesome discussion here as we reason on what to go on. Thanks for being on the show with us.
Truly a pleasure.
One love.
Nicole.
That was a man them drop a whole heap of gem, brother. Me tea done, me eat off the crackers, everything, and me still that probably need to grab more to get more into the conversation. But it several things stand out to me in the conversation. One, he mentioned civics for young Jamaican, and my generation is probably the last batch who was taught civics for young Jamaican.
Right.
I really think they need to bring back that, because I think that help with the history and for teach us so many things.
Well, it's a core of learning about who we are, and I think you know both of them understood the core relationship between learning about these significant events and how you behave within the community.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people don't know why we did certain things. And how are they going to learn unless somebody teach them?
Yeah. And I must admit, like, when I was in Kingston, I'm glad Sir Hinds was letting the Kingstonians recognize that it's not just to say, oh, I'm from Kingston. But, you know, if for me, when I started working, for me, it was a holiday because it was just a time when, oh, thank God I do have to go to work.
Yeah.
But I remember growing up in good old Bongo Town on Labor Day, we used to the out there,
You
as
have
him
to out
say,
the road as sweep with
a
your broom,
clean,
right?
yeah,
So,
a
to Dave
whitewash
Tennant,
stone.
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yes,
even
Pres,
remember that.
yeah. So David as a boy, you know,
Oh,
Jamaicans
yeah.
took pride in getting their communities clean and a sense of community spirit ensued. So Labor Day projects were always planned for a long time, and people actually look forward to contributing to the cleanup and whatever the Labor Day
Yeah.
project was, and somehow that kind of waned. But I think some of it comes from the messaging that you get from the government and also the
Yes.
leadership that you get within the communities, right?
Yeah. I
Right.
agree. Who's that?
So
Hey,
Prudence, yeah,
Prudence.
Prudence is saying, boy, yeah, she agree. The spirit of community development has been lost,
Yeah,
except for some of the
it
country
is.
villages, right?
Yeah.
And you know, the big question for me anyway, and you know, as they brought out was why? Why did we lose that? What happened? Right? The
Yeah.
educational process has changed dramatically. And yeah, some
Yeah.
of that is like it depends on where you teach them, right? If you aren't teaching them about, you know, back in the days and why, you know, why people got the freedoms that they have, why we have the labor movement,
The labor
you know,
movement, yeah.
I'm going to
It's
leave
a
it one,
yeah,
Jen, because I know the clock is ticking.
yeah,
In the
it's a lot of
1938 rebellions, right, labor
mhm,
rebellions, 46 people died and 429 people were injured,
injured, yeah.
right? So, you know, we have to understand that. We have to understand that.
I
Lots of
feel
comments,
understand.
right?
Yeah,
That's what the reasoning got. That's what the
national
reasoning got
anthem
the
and
truth.
pledge. Yeah, but nowadays you can't even have devotion. I remember, but as I said, very good information, and I would really love if there's a two-part to this conversation.
Yeah, we've got to talk to the producer.
Yeah, no, but you talk to the producer.
Yeah, we've got to talk to the producer.
Producer, we need a
Yeah.
part two.
Anyway, we have
Yeah,
to go
carry
run.
on.
This was a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
reasoning.
yeah,
All
man.
right.
See you
Hold
next week,
tight till next
Donovan.
week.
Yes. I hope you folks are really listening and taking in the conversation and really giving it a critical lens, thinking about it critically and see the importance of us knowing these things about Jamaica. Because as I think is Dr. Clovis said that it is just not enough for us to say, oh, we're Jamaicans. We need to start put our hands and our work behind just saying we're Jamaicans. So some a very good conversation. Hope people listen. Very insightful and cause to really think that hey, some things need to happen. Yeah, thanks for that great content. It truly was. But we have to move on and we have to wrap up the show. So I'm not sure if anyone guessed who. Well, before we go on, for next week's show, we're going to be looking at literacy and how to build a literary culture in Black communities in Calgary, in Canada rather. And we're going to be talking to Dwayne Morgan. So come out back next week. It's at 7 p.m. Calgary time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So come on, jump on either YouTube or Facebook and just watch us and let us hear about literacy and how that affect Black culture in Canada. Just want to say thank you. I'm not seeing any response to Tegereg. Oh, Carol Daly said Jennifer and our Tegereg, them a come crowd up me yard. Run them out, Carol. Now make them Tegereg up your place. Tegereg them back. Who that? Ermelin say, stop behave like Tegereg in the people them dance. Well, a Tegereg behavior might be qualified in the dance, but hey, we are going to be having a dance soon, so we want the Tegereg behavior there, so to bring it. Make you know if you behave like reverence. So, oh, you mean Tegereg prudence? Because the word I know reverend behave like revert, so no man. Tegereg prudence, so come again. But thanks folks for dropping those in the comments. So more anybody know where this place is in Jamaica? So if it's time for us to go, so if you're not drop it yet, the place is halfway tree. So one of the picture is the clock in the center of halfway tree there, so and the other one is the bus park. So learn about Jamaica people, and so we can truly flash that Jamaican pride. So another week, it's wrapped. Thanks for joining us. So come out again next week and see you. And it's your girl from Bunga Town saying bye.